right, everybody. We are so thrilled to be here with you this Mario Day / Mario Day weekend with another episode of All In, a Nintendo podcast, the weekly Nintendo variety show. Each and every week, no shells left unturned, no point is left unearned. No shell unturned feels very appropriate for this week. We're sitting here live on youtube.com/allinpodcast on Mario Day, of course, each and every Friday. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We do the first segment of our show live for everybody to see. And we are sitting here on Mario Day, on the day itself, yes. Eric.
Happy Mario Day to you, my friend.
Happy Mario Day to you. I hope you've had a super Mario Day.
I've had a very super day. Happy Mario Day to everybody in the chat and everybody watching live.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching us record our news roundup live. Appreciate y'all, but you know who else we appreciate, Eric?
We got to give them an extra special Mario Day shout out this week, Seth. Our lovely patrons.
That's right. The patrons, the people making the dreams come true at patreon.com/allinpodcast. Thank you all so much to everybody who supports us over there, especially our golden banana bunch like Rob Yapel, Third Strongest Mole, Sean O'Baggins Ashton, Tim A, aka Neoprime33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4, Matt Shy Guy City Murray, Drew Agnew, Phelan Ward, Bill Tucker, Marcus O'Neill, Liam D, Solo Something, and Bowza. And we've also got to thank our Triforce tier supporters. Huge thanks to Josh Vaughn, the godfather of Tingle Love Tuesday, John Datfast Cummins of the Retrologic podcast, as well as On Topic Retro, the Globetrotting Jet Setting Nintendo Hubbin' Sparky, who brought us Singapore. And yeah, about to say who brought us Singapore and Mario Kart this week, so we have him to
exactly, yeah. He had the real Singapore sweep over there.
That's right. Adam Caparello, Octorock 1982, himself of the Retro Groove podcast and the Octorock 1982 YouTube channel. Shy Guy, the other half of our Shy Guy mod squad. Danielina Hosa, Dan and Luma, and the legend himself.
The man who deserves his own day, Uncle Randy.
Uncle Randy. Huge thanks to everybody. You're all our superstars over there at patreon.com/allinpodcast.
Yes.
We appreciate you all very much. No 5-star reviews to shout out this week, but you know, would have been nice. You could have given us a superstar, a power star here, or
We've
5.
Gotten all of them.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But really quickly, you guys, if you want to review this show, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or Audible. Drop a few superstars our way, a few power stars our way for Mario Day. We would appreciate it. Super easy.
5 specifically, that would be
5
nice.
of them. We need 5. And I'll shout out, if you drop some words in your review, I'll shout it out here on the show. But sir, what's been going on in your world this week?
Ironically enough, you and I had this conversation a couple days ago. I think my week, especially in video games, could best be described in one phrase, and that phrase is cleaning up.
Oh, like a plumber, you might say.
Mayhaps even like a plumber. So we did our full review of Kirby's Return to Dreamland last week. Make sure to go ahead and check it out. But there were a couple small things that I needed to finish off to get that ever elusive, wonderful 100% tag on your file, because of course you do get that crown and you get this nice big rainbow splash across your file. You gotta get it. You gotta get it. So I went ahead and cleaned up those few last little things I needed to do in Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe in order to get that wonderful little rainbow splash. But in addition to that, you know, I realized I actually had a couple days to play video games. Yeah. So what I did is I went back to a couple old games that I hadn't quite finished with yet, that I hadn't quite gotten the full experience that I'd wanted to out of them. The biggest one that I had to do is I had to finish WarioWare. I had to finish WarioWare on the Game Boy Advance NSO specifically because I needed Puro 2 back in my life, Seth. I've said it before. I'll probably wind up saying it again someday, but I needed Puro 2 back in my life, and now I have it. Eric, happy. I've been playing it. I've played it a couple times a day, at least, since I've unlocked it, and it's so simple. It really is. It's so simple. I almost feel weird for loving it as much as I do, but it's so good, and it's one of those. It's one of those real, true, pure, simple pleasure video games for me, and I was just really happy to have unlocked it again in WarioWare. I have it on my Nintendo 3DS. I have the actual downloadable, purchasable version called Bird and Beans, but you can also unlock it as the final 100% unlockable in WarioWare on the Game Boy Advance, and what an unlockable.
Yeah. Great game. What probably the single best point chaser of all time. Like just that simple point chaser, very like clean cut, perfect little package.
Yeah, that's the only goal in the game. See how many points you can get, but the way the background changes, the way the music changes, and just the way the game controls so simply and elegantly, I absolutely adore it. But in addition to that, there was another game, a collection, in fact, that I had some unfinished business with. And I, in fact, finished that business after a good, 8 months, finally. The Capcom Fighting Collection came out back in July.
Yeah.
And I've been working on something since it came out, and I finally was able to get that achievement this past week. There is a trophy, an achievement, in the Capcom Fighting Collection that you can get by beating the game, by beating every game in the collection with every playable character.
Yeah.
And I saw that the first day that I booted the game up, and I just said to myself, challenge accepted. Absolutely, challenge accepted. 10 games on the collection. Not necessarily a small roster for most of them. Red Earth only has 4 characters, but you need to unlock multiple endings for each of those characters. And by the way, that achievement also included each of the game's each of the collection's secret characters. And just for, completionist sake, I tallied up that number. There's actually 25, full games roster worth of secret characters across the collection that I also had to do full arcade playthroughs for. Damn. But Eric has beaten every game in the Capcom Fighting Collection with every playable character. But I was happy to do it. One of the final games I did it with, though, is a game that I have lauded on this show plenty, and that is Cyberbots.
Yeah.
Cyberbots Full Metal Madness. And after putting so much time into it this week and doing all of those arcade playthroughs, at this point, I'm honestly willing to say it. I think Cyberbots is on my short list. Maybe top 3 fighting games all time. I adore Cyberbots. And after putting so much time into it this week, I was just like, this game is just way too good. So wonderfully detail-centric. Deceptively simple fighting mechanics. I love the designs of the characters. I love the storylines, the intersecting storylines going on. Even though there's 6 playable human characters, there are 16 playable mechs. So you can play whatever character story you want, but you can have any gameplay style you want because any of those characters can pilot any of the mechs. And you have, just 2 attack buttons and your special weapon button, but they get so much variety. Each of the characters feels so wonderfully different, and you have just these weirdly designed. It really feels like one of those old Zoids. You remember Zoids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But just a Capcom fighting game version of something like Gundam or something like Battle Robe or Battle
or something or
yeah. But at this point, I think I'm finally willing to say that I think Cyberbots really is in my top 3. I love that game so much.
Nice.
But when it comes to cleaning up, it took a little bit of a literal turn this week as well. You and I had some fun, didn't we, Seth?
Yeah, we did. Power Wash Simulator got its that Final Fantasy VII Midgar special pack or whatever, and there's a video on the YouTube channel of Eric and I cleaning the guard scorpion from tail to tip, man. We took that thing down and we cleaned it. We toured the Seventh Heaven bar. We looked at the Shinra garage, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, you and I finally got the opportunity to check out the online multiplayer for Power Wash Simulator, and we found it to be quite good.
Works
in fact,
really well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check out the video. Definitely check out the video if you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII. If you want to check out what Power Wash Simulator is all about, Seth and I have a running commentary. We make it quite entertaining for you, if I do say so myself. But yeah, even with that, we got so much stuff that released this week that I'm trying to play and catch up on. Obviously, the game behind me this week is Metroid Fusion, which released, of course, on the GBA NSO, which we'll shout out again here a little bit later. Another game that came out this week, I wanted to play through the first iteration of it. The sequel came out this week, but I wanted to play through the first Figment, which is on a deep discount right now. It's like $2 right now. So if it's a game that you're into, check out the video that Seth did on Figment 2. I picked up the first Figment and I started playing that. So hopefully I'll be able to finish that. In addition to that, there's just so much else going on. Like we said last week, it really feels like it's going to be the month of DLC. And there were several big drops again this week that brought us back to a few other games. I put quite a bit of time into Mario Kart, and we'll talk about that again a little bit later and probably this weekend. But, I mean, even with all of that, Seth, I know you've had an even busier week.
It has been a crazy week, man. I mean, to your point, it's been a crazy week of releases. There's been a lot of like indie games, kind of like bigger releases, like Mario Day stuff. There were 3 presentations this week that we'll get to in the news. I mean, there's just been an insane amount of stuff. Yeah, it is funny though. In between everything I was doing, I didn't think I would. I'd be able to, but I did. I decided to trade a little bit of that pesky sleep and play the Mario Kart 8 courses for a booster course pass wave 4, and I did managed to get my 3-star gold cup in every single CC for both of the new, and I got my file back up to 100%, so I'm good.
Nice.
I'm good.
You're good for the next couple months at least.
Yeah, the itch in the back of my brain is not there anymore, so I'm good on that. Yeah, that was great. We had a couple of so Figment 2. Really quickly, was something that was not even on my radar. You had heard of it before. I'd never even heard of it.
It was on my radar. I've always been really attracted to these very surrealist, really dreamlike type of experiences, which Figment definitely qualifies. So it was definitely on my radar. I knew the first one was out, and it was one of those games that was always on my periphery, not quite ever making it to my queue proper with everything else going on, but definitely a game I was interested in.
Yeah. So the developers, Bedtime Digital Games, huge thanks to them because they reached out to us, sent us an email saying like, hey, we've got Figment 2 coming out. We love the work you guys do, and we would love to give you the opportunity to play it. So I looked into it, learned what the Figment series was, and I was like, well, this looks pretty cool, and so I accepted and put out that video on Figment 2, and then just like you said, I was sort of, I was playing it and I was digging it because what Figment is, it's like a top-down kind of like action, isometric like action puzzler kind of thing. And it has this kind of like Psychonauts kind of Hieronymus Bosch kind of art, like this sort of Little Nemo, maybe even a little bit of touchstones with Little Nemo a little bit.
A little bit. Like if you've ever seen the painting with the melting clocks, essentially, like those kind of vibes, essentially.
Totally. Yeah. And it's definitely like, got all those like kind of, it takes place inside the mind. So it's got those kind of like that theming to it. And I was really attracted to that. I love the art of it as well. And it's also musical. Like the series is very, very musical. Like the bosses are all singing, and the music is actually quite good. Like it's pretty fun, and I like the way the world sort of is timed to the music. Like the raindrops will be to the time of the music and stuff, and I was kind of digging it. And so just like you, I was like, well, let me like, I feel like I'm missing something. This is Figment 2. I haven't even played Figment 1. So I go on the eShop. It's on a deep discount for the next like week or two, I think. So I definitely
Yep.
recommend checking it out. And if you think this is the kind of thing you'd be into, pick it up. I mean, here's what I'll say about it, right? Is the combat in the game is very simple. It's very button mashy, pretty loose. It's nothing like crazy. This is not, Hades or something.
Yeah, not God of War, not Devil May Cry. This
No.
is not the intent of Figment.
No. Figment is all about the world and the sort of like vibes of it and the music. Like for me, and like even the puzzle solving is really simplistic, like pretty light puzzle solving. At least so far, I'm pretty early in both games. Because now I want to play through the first one before I do two.
Yeah.
But still, like I'm really impressed with just like everything the game is doing. One thing that's really cool about this game is that unlike in Psychonauts, where you're going from like an already kind of fantastical world into an even more fantastical mind, the mind you're in Figment is just a real person,
Yep.
with like
Yep.
real problems and stuff. And I really like that a lot. So,
Yeah.
so
The
that was
beginning
pretty
of the
cool.
first game, especially, I thought was a really, really interesting setup.
Yeah. So I'm just really kind of into it. It was kind of cool going from like literally not even knowing that this series existed to now
Yeah.
having both and really liking kind of picking up what they're putting down. So again, big thanks to Bedtime Digital Games for reaching
Yes.
out to us about that. Another shout out to Toge Productions, who reached out
Oh.
to us with Vanarus Tactics.
Hmm.
Which is a really cool little kind of like solo develop. This is made by one guy, I think based out of Brazil, and it is a tactics RPG, kind of a Final Fantasy Tactics inspired tactics RPG. It's very, very simple. You can play through the entire thing in one sitting if you want to. That's exactly what I did. I made the video and then I basically just kept playing. I got through the whole thing in just a few hours. It's not long, but it's got a really cool, interesting kind of world. It's got a very simple like combat setup. This is not gonna like change your life. This is not gonna be one of your favorite strategy RPGs of all time. But if you're looking for something to just kind of do over a weekend or something like that, I recommend it. Like I like it just kind of works. Like it's just kind of a good one of these.
Like FF Tactics or Ogre Battle Light.
Yeah, totally. Like just a sort of like snack of like if you're looking for a Final Fantasy Tactics snack or something, it's perfect for that. It's got really kind of like pleasing, chunky like pixel art, and it's got a lot of world building actually, considering how sort of bite sized it is. And yeah, it's a really cool little game. I recommend it. It's I will say too, something that I really appreciate about the game is it keeps the numbers small. It keeps like both in terms of like the scale of combat and in terms of the economy and stuff. Like things feel very careful. Things feel very considered. Like you can't just like go out and be willy nilly about anything. So that vibe stays throughout. It's a cool little game. I recommend
Yeah.
it.
And that's something you and I have talked about a couple times on the show before is,
Yeah.
we love RPGs, turn-based RPGs, JRPGs, if we're even allowed to still say that after this past week. But
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into that weirdness.
No, yeah.
But we really like turn-based RPGs. The problem is they are so often such massive time sinks. And, we've talked about how it'd be nice if we could see more of these, not necessarily quite bite-sized, but much more manageable time investment, stuff like
Yeah.
Cthulhu Saves Christmas,
Totally.
stuff like this game. So yeah, definitely a genre that we adore and we want to play more of, but so often we fall into these traps of, I want to play this game. Where do I find the 80 hours required for that? So I really love games like this for that reason. Genre that we love, but a manageable time investment.
Yeah, and it might like by the end of it, it may leave you kind of wanting more from it because you're kind of invested in the world of it. I'll say like it goes to some fairly dark places that I kind of didn't expect, and it's a cool little game. I really like it. It's Vanarus Tactics, and I think it's only $10 also, so it's very, very recommendable for that. The last thing I'll shout out is the demo for Bayonetta Origins.
Hmm.
Cereza and the Lost Demon, which dropped very classily on International Women's Day, which I thought was really cool. And this was something that has been a big question mark, I feel like, for the Nintendo, fan base, and certainly me too, just kind of wondering, like, well, what even is this?
Yeah.
Um,
Bayonetta, this is not.
no, 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 not at all. And so you get to play this kind of like hour 15, hour and a half long demo. It's the first two chapters, effectively, of the game.
Hmm.
Your progress does carry over into the full game, which comes out at this point next week. Um, and yeah, I know, right? Um, and it's cool. Like I love the art. I love the music. The
Yeah.
entire like the presentation of the game is immaculate. Like this kind of storybook kind of reminds me of like the background art in Sleeping Beauty or something made into a full game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
that sort of vibe. It looks beautiful. I love the characterization too. They introduced some new characters like straight away, and I really like this sort of like matronly like teacher character Morgana that's teaching Bayonetta and their sort of relationship and stuff. It did take me a while to warm up to the gameplay though, like the combat of it. And I felt like the demo ended right when I felt like I was getting a handle on it.
Hmm.
Because you've got Cheshire, who is, for anybody who played Bayonetta 3, you know that Cheshire is this giant, like, demon plushy cat thing. Um,
Cheshire was great.
yeah, and so Cheshire is in this game. And I won't spoil how Bayonetta and Cheshire come together, but it's pretty great. It's sort of like an unlikely duo sort of thing, kind of like not wanting to work together, but having to work together kind of
Hmm.
thing. And it's pretty good. And there's a lot of like good like lore and backstory. But I made this comment in the video because I recorded it, and there's a video on the YouTube channel right now if you want to watch my playthrough of it. I was like 20 minutes into Bayonetta 3, right? You're on the back of a yacht in the middle of a swirling tornado sea storm fighting a kaiju with your hair. You know what
And
I
that's
mean?
just the first proper stage.
The first, like the opening moments of Bayonetta 3 are like that. And 20 minutes into Bayonetta Origins, you have walked a little bit, you have climbed a ladder, and you have fetched a pail of water. You know what I mean? Like it is not your traditional Bayonetta experience. So I'm going to be really curious to see, like, ironically, I think that this game appeals more to people who don't like Bayonetta. Like, this game appeals to people who are not Bayonetta fans, you know?
See, when we played the kind of secret chapter that's available in Bayonetta
Mm-hmm.
3, I was so. I thought it was just going to be like a DLC chapter, kind
Yeah.
of an addendum to Bayonetta 3. And then when they announced it as a full game toward the end of last year, that confused the heck out of me because I
Right.
was like, this is such a far departure from what's going on, uh, you know, not just mechanically, but thematically as well. It
Yep.
is so fundamentally different from the franchise that I was honestly surprised they slapped Bayonetta's name on it.
It is a full $60 like retail release, this game. And yeah, that was kind of what was weird to me, is like, okay, well, what's really going on here? Because it's got this whole like storybook aesthetic. It's got a narrator the entire time, like reading, the cutscenes are very like storybook. And that's all cool. And I really do like the lore. Like I've always been a huge fan of Bayonetta's lore, and this game's got plenty of it right away. And I really like that. But like the actual gameplay of it, because you're controlling Cheshire and Bayonetta the way that you would control like in Brothers, like there's one on each stick
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I will say, like, 'cause my gut reaction to that when it's first introduced was, well, I don't want to play a whole game like this. Like, if this is going to be like a 10-hour sort of thing, I don't know. But they have done a couple of interesting things to kind of truncate that, where there's actually a couple of different modes where Bayonetta can sort of recall Cheshire into like the plushie form and use it in different ways. And there are a couple moments where Cheshire can't pass through these like rosemary bushes, so they do like break them up quite a bit to where you're not always controlling them both. which is good. And then the combat is like pretty straightforward, where with Bayonetta, you're sort of using your spells to like hold enemies in place, and then Cheshire just comes in and whacks them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's cool.
I figured Platinum would do a couple interesting things with the combat. I mean, it is Platinum Games after all, and I mentioned about how different the game is to the Bayonetta franchise in general, but honestly, how different this game is to the rest of Platinum's catalogs, because Platinum's MO has really always been this incredibly over-the-top style, not just in Bayonetta. You see that in games like, Vanquish. You see that in games like Transformers, Devastation.
Yeah.
So it's just these incredibly frenetic action adventure, very combat-oriented action adventure games. And this is a very different road for Platinum to go down. But I think they've earned a little bit of they've got a good enough catalog. I'll meet them halfway on this.
Totally. Yeah, that's totally where I'm at. Look, I'm going to pick up the game next week when it comes out. I'm very intrigued by this because by the end of the demo, they sort of start to introduce mechanics that maybe imply there's like a little bit of like an openness to the world, which is interesting. They're like fast travel points and kind of like witch sanctuaries. You unlock the ability to concoct like potions with materials that you found. So it does start to open up, and then right as it does, the demo ends. So, which I guess is what they're intending, right? So now I'm like, okay,
look at all these things that you'll be able to do now. Aren't these interesting? Haven't these piqued your interest? I'm like, darn it, they have.
Yeah, they have. Grumble.
Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to playing it and kind of seeing what the full scope is. I'm sure we're going to wind up reviewing it here on the show and letting you guys know everything about it.
You and I will both be picking it up, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it. Been up to, if that's all, just a little teensy weensy bit of a busy week. But we've got plenty of news to get into as well, my friend. It's Mario Day. Lots of Mario Day related stuff to talk about.
Yes, it is. So if only just for the Mario Day stuff, there's plenty to talk to just because of that, but definitely not where that conversation ends. So let's talk about it.
Hey, listen!
Of course, we are here recording this live on March 10th, which is, of course, officially at this point, Mario Day. So every year, last week was the Switch's birthday, and we had a little rollout of some fun stuff and some presentations. And of course, for Mario's own official holiday at this point, Nintendo rolled out some more fun stuff. Far and away, the most important, however, has got to be, obviously, the update to the Nintendo Switch eShop.
Yeah.
Did you see that? They finally added
They brought it back.
They brought it back. That unironically made me so happy. The fact that for those, exactly. We were just talking about it. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Nintendo a couple times over the course of the Switch's lifespan has added some accoutrement, a little bit of flair, a few flourishes to the Nintendo Switch eShop with major Mario releases, like Mario's 35th anniversary, the release of Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. They've added in like little Mario-centric flourishes, and they brought those back. You got the deep red with the Mario iconography in the background, and you've got the loading screen, which now features the classic Super Mario 64 3D model of Mario, which is, unironically, that made me really happy to see. And I'm sure they're going to take it away again after this big Mario celebration is over. But if any of you out there are listening, Doug, keep it. It's great. There's no reason to take it away.
We're starving. We're in the oasis. So any little droplet of personality to the Switch eShop, we're like,
We're literally in the 7th year of the Nintendo Switch, and we still don't have themes. Just let us have this.
Yeah.
Just let us have this. Okay, but that aside, yes, of course, the actual big Mario Day stuff. And I really do think, unironically, we have to start with the final trailer of the Super Mario Brothers movie, of course, releasing here in less than a month now. Less than a month, April 5th. We got a very short presentation on, in Japan it was Mario Day. Here we got it Thursday, March 9th. And it started with Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Keegan-Michael Key, and Jack Black all basically just showing up at the beginning of the presentation to say, hey guys, we're here.
Yeah. Seth Rogen and Anya Taylor-Joy were there too.
They showed up in a different shot.
Arguing.
Yeah, they were all arguing. They were doing a bunch of weird stuff, but then Miyamoto comes in and he's like, "Hey, here's the final trailer." And oh wow, just wow! I don't want to say necessarily too much about the content of the trailer because I know at this point there are a lot of people who are actively trying to avoid spoilers, and they are like, you and I have already decided to see it. If we weren't Nintendo content creators, I probably wouldn't have watched this, frankly.
Fair.
But yeah, it looks so good. The animation is just so ridiculously clean. I actually really appreciate Chris Pratt's performance more every time I hear him.
Me too.
But yeah, there's just so many fun little things here. The attention to detail and the Easter eggs and the animators and the directors and just everybody working on this movie. In every frame, they're just constantly saying, we see you, Nintendo fans, and we got you.
Dude, it's immaculate. It is. There is no chance this doesn't wind up just being one of my favorite movies. There's just no chance. Like, even like from objective things, just the way it looks, the music is incredible. Like, I am literally going to have to watch this movie when it comes out on Blu-ray, like a separate time, just to listen to the music. Because they released a clip, like the sort of extended clip of when Mario meets Toad, and it is just playing a version of the Captain Toad theme.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, like this stuff, it's going to be mind blowing to even just listen to the music that's going on in the background, let alone just the feast of like Easter eggs and little things to pick out of the background and all these like amazing character moments, like the moment with Donkey Kong in this trailer.
Of course.
Again, no spoilers, but my God, like what a hype moment that is. You know, we've been sort of for a little while now wondering like when they were going to introduce Luma Lee, because of the Happy Meal toy, and the trailer opens.
That was the best part.
So
and especially
good.
the reaction of the other characters after that whole moment was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so great. And
good.
then of course, we did get a little bit more information, a little tease about who this blue-shelled Koopa character was. We did see a little bit, like not necessarily a lot of hard information, not a ton of lore, but certainly enough to go off of to make some pretty good assumptions about the role the character is going to play in the movie.
Yeah, we've got there's a shot of him and the red shell Koopa Troopa with like the eye patch, and it's very clear that they're like generals or something in Bowser's army. There's a great shot. I love the shot so much with the blue shell with his like kind of army of Koopa paratroopas. He extends his wings, and then they all behind him. Oh my god, their wing. So good. So good. And of course this is a very Mario Kart heavy trailer, which we knew was going to be a thing as well. Kind of Mad Max Mario Kart going on there at the end of that trailer. So
here's I don't know who out there has said what, and I'm sure that a lot of I don't look for these things, so I don't know if the synopsis or the script has leaked at this point, and how much we actually quote unquote know about the story. But we know that Bowser is going for the Power Stars. Yep. And we know that Rainbow Road and this whole kart thing are being leaned into quite heavily. Yep. I imagine what's going to happen is they're going to realize that, they're going to find out about Rosalina or something in regards to the Lumas out there in space where stars live, and realize that, the Grand Star or whatever, the ultimate MacGuffin is going to be at the end of Star Road. And I think that's going to be like the big Act 3 is, hey, I'm going after the Power Stars. The final MacGuffin's at the end of Rainbow Road. The good guys have to get it first. And it's basically a big race down Rainbow Road to get to Rosalina, effectively. That's kind of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I could see that. It definitely does feel like the sort of final act kind of set piece is the Mario Kart thing. And one
Yeah.
thing that was cool was we got the after the trailer played, they welcomed out the directors of the movie,
Yes.
who officially have titled DK's kind of kingdom is the Jungle Kingdom, which is cool to finally kind of have that officially. There's a lot of speculation on this, but it's great. And this is where the sort of Mario Kart custom seems to come from. That garage there has got all these like ancient hieroglyphics of, Donkey Kong and like gorillas and stuff playing Mario Kart essentially. And
Yeah.
oh, it's so great. There's so much to dig into just in this trailer. But I will say, I felt like this was like the trailer that they played, the second trailer, the one just before this, is legitimately one of my favorite movie trailers of all time. Like, it was so perfect. And so this one, they showed, I think, just enough. I feel like they're cognizant of people out there kind of like feeling like they've seen too much of the movie. So I feel like they have done a really good job of kind of like showing you enough to give everybody something to talk about with the final trailer, but like it's still kind of giving you like enough to chew on in the background of it without dominating it with like brand new footage. So I think this final trailer kind of did its job, but it didn't like blow me away. I'm already like, I was so beyond sold on the movie,
Exactly.
But-
Yeah.
So,
This is better than the best timeline I envisioned for this Mario Brothers
my
movie.
gosh.
It really was. I was so worried about this coming in. Like they're working on it. It's been a long time coming. It's been delayed a lot. We've
Yep.
heard whispers for two, and then just they started releasing the media, and every single thing just felt like it's been pitch perfect. So you and I are going to be there
Can't wait.
as close to opening night as we can possibly get. If they'll let me go see it tomorrow, I will happily go see it tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. But it kind of blows my mind that for Mario Day, of all the things that they could have created to represent this movie within the real world, Nintendo chose Mario's boots.
Yeah, man. I
So
don't see any issue here.
at the end of this trailer, at the end of this presentation, the final kind of big announcement, what amounted to effectively a one more thing during this little Mario trailer direct, was the fact that today, as we're recording this, Mario Day, they had a real pair of Mario's boots, replica from the movie, the shoes that he wore, not a statue of Mario, not a scale model of one of those amazing carts, not one of the characters, not any of the other things that have been shown off. Mario's shoes. And this confused me, but not nearly as much as it confuses me how much people lost their minds for this today at Nintendo New York. You would have thought Charles Martinet was there.
I almost feel like people went and like got so hyped for that because they were expecting like something like almost like, well, I should go just in case, sort of thing. Cause like, man, like it's just, and there, I mean, like, yeah, it's Mario's boots. Like, it looks like Mario's boots.
Like, it's okay, it's cool, but people were treating this like, no, these are the boots he wore in the movie in real life.
Right.
I'm like, that's not a thing. That's not how movies.
Wait till they
That's
find
not how
out
animation
it's not
works.
real. Yeah, it's so funny, man. And I,
I'm
but
happy
looking-
people are happy, but it just, of all the things they could have chosen to create to have on display today, is Mario's shoes.
even like his
I don't get it.
plunger,
Yeah,
like, just put
his
an actual
tool
plunger.
belt. They did. To be fair, they did bring that amazing Super Mario Brothers plumbing
Yes.
truck out. They
Yes.
did do that, and that would have been amazing to see in person. But it just, I don't get where all the hype around the shoes come. If you're a sneaker nut, try explain it to me in Discord, please. Genuinely, I want to know like why people were losing their minds over this. We love
so
Nintendo,
funny.
but even that was a huge point of confusion for me.
Yeah, that's a bit too much of that's a bridge too far for me to get hyped up on boots. To go out there in that crowd, could you imagine? Like somebody in that crowd caught COVID, right? For sure, that must have happened.
Probably.
To go out there and get a glimpse of Mario's shoes, like it's wild. But yeah, that to your point, the Super Mario Brothers plumbing van is actually like rolled out a couple places nationwide.
Yep.
I think it's in
tour.
Austin. Yeah. So you can, I think it's going to be at South by Southwest for Austin and stuff. And Boston, I think, got one. So it was at London, I think, last week, which was kind of the first place. They updated the website a little bit, which is kind of funny. So the marketing is in full swing at this point, now that we're, again, not even a month away. And Eric, speaking of the marketing, I do want to just talk real quick about these toys. Okay?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's see Seth's new toys. By the way, Seth put up an unboxing video on the YouTube channel earlier today before we went live, as a matter of fact, so check that out. But you did indeed get the brand new Mario and Bowser figures from Jakks Pacific, didn't you, buddy?
I did. So Jakks Pacific's line of Super Mario Brothers movie toys is starting to hit store shelves. Happened to be at Walmart last night and saw that my local Walmart had Mario and Bowser. And those were, if you're going to get two of them, it better be Mario and Bowser, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I got to say, for those listening to the podcast version, you're going to have to check out Seth's unboxing video. He's got them both on camera right now. And they actually look really cool. The mold for Bowser specifically looks amazing.
It's incredible. The mold, and you know what? Even Mario, like I wasn't really sold on like artwork and pictures, but seeing him in person, this is pretty much like, I think this is pretty much as good as it gets. For like a $20 Mario figure, there's quite a lot of articulation. It's quite detailed. It has like a nice like weight to it. Little $20 figure, but it's great. I go into this in much more detail in my unboxing video, so definitely check that out. But Bowser is what I really want to stop and highlight, because Bowser breathes fire, Eric.
Yes, he does. Actual literal fire. He's going to burn your house down. Asterisk, Bowser may not actually burn your house down. By the way, Bowser looks on camera, he looks like he's legit 12 inches.
It's huge. It's got to be.
Yeah.
This has got to be 8-9 inches. Genuinely. It's massive. And it comes in like this huge box. Like,
it's genuinely the size of Seth's head. Not even kidding.
It's massive. It is a massive figure. Weighty. It's got this nice like combination of like, in the unboxing video, I compared it to like when we were kids and you would get Godzilla toys, like where it's like half plastic and half kind of like rubbery pieces, But what you do with this guy? Because I was wondering, I'm like, how in the heck does the fire breathing effect happen? And what you do is you like, there's a little part of his hair you take out and pour water in, and
that's what I figured.
What ends up happening is he breathes out steam and lights up his mouth red, and it looks like fire. And I'll show you guys here what it kind of looks like.
That's actually really cool.
It's pretty sick.
That's more pronounced of an effect than I was thinking. Bowser genuinely shoots steam like a good foot.
Yeah, dude.
That was legit. More than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It's like a really cool, for $30, like this is a really cool, well-made figure that is like, like it's a simple effect. It just lights up red and like steam comes out, but it especially like in a dark, room like my office. I mean, it really does look like he's shooting fire, But
it doesn't get like too hot or anything on the head.
No. There's no heat element to it really at all, as far as I can tell. It just kind of like, I think it just basically like makes an aerosol sort of thing out of it and just mists the little bit of water that goes in there. It's not even a lot of water that goes in there. They give you this little, I've got it right here, this little tiny like dropper comes with it. And I mean, you can see I didn't even use all of the water, to fill it up. It's a very small amount of water that it uses. So it's awesome. I just like, again,
that actually looks really cool.
It's so good. And like, it makes me really want, I was a little like iffy on this line at first, but now I'm like, well, now I got to have all of them. Now I got to get Luigi and Peach and Toad.
That's how they get you.
It's
Can I see that Mario figure one more time?
Yeah. The Mario figure, man. He has a little plunger, and
he's holding it plunger side up though. No self-respecting plumber would hold the plunger side up.
Fair. He his eyes, one of the big trademarks of this line, they're very proud of this, is the realistic eyes. So it doesn't really come off on the camera, but his eyes are very like shiny, and they kind of like follow you a little bit when you look at them. And
Oh, that's not unsettling to see on your shelf at night.
so yeah, it's a great little line, man. I'm very impressed with it.
Nice.
I must have them all now. They got me.
Nice. Well, I mean, those toys aren't the only thing that were announced today for Mario Day that you're probably going to wind up picking up. We got even more stuff that we're probably going to wind up having to put on our shelves in the near future, aren't we, buddy?
Yeah,
You're getting them all, aren't you?
Well, there's one for sure that I have to get. Look, y'all, I have been good. I've been strong with the Lego Super Mario stuff.
He has actually. Good. He has.
However, whenever they introduce new characters, yeah, it's whenever they introduce new like characters, that's when they get me. Because I always wind up picking up the character sets. So Peach, Luigi, Mario. And they introduced, like, for Mario Day, they announced a really cool, like, Dry Bowser castle set. It's cool. You know, it looks neat. I like it. But the big one was at the end of it, they teased Donkey Kong. They showed the Donkey Kong Lego figure that will connect with your Mario figure. You can ride in, like, a weird little basket on DK's back.
Like Yoshi or something.
Yeah. Even though the Yoshi figure they released isn't rideable. I don't know what the deal is with that. But
they specifically did that to infuriate Dan.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and he is infuriated. But it's a great looking little DK figure, and when Mario goes onto his back, it's not a Bluetooth figure, so it shouldn't like have a premium in terms of its price. So Mario goes on there, and the speaker with Mario will play like DK music and DK sounds and stuff. It is so good. He doesn't have like the soulless dead eyes that Mario and Luigi have. He's got his own kind of, he has his own thing. And we assume, they said that more details will be coming out over the coming months, because it's coming out in August. The waves always kind of happen like August 1st and January 1st. So August 1st, I assume this is going to be part of a whole wave of DK playsets. So at least one DK playset is going to be involved, and I'm very excited to see what that entails. I will be buying that. Yeah.
Well, specifically, I imagine this is going to coincide with the release of the Mario movie on streaming or on Blu-ray.
That's probably true. It's a good point. Yeah, you're probably exactly right about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be great. It was a cool announcement. The Dry Bowser Castle Battle is cool too, but yeah, I mean, just to see DK there, you love to see it. Made me happy.
I will say, just talking about one last little thing on the toys, that we've already talked about the IRL van showing up at Nintendo New York, but that van playset that breaks into like a Mighty Max style battle playset, that looks really cool. That looks so cool. That actually reminds me of, we did a side quest this week on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we talked a lot about the toys of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It actually threw me back. It reminded me of some of those old Turtles play sets from back in the day. So,
yeah, I'm gonna spend so much money on this stupid movie merchandise, man. They got me hook, line, and sinker. It's so bad. Yeah.
We got that, and they're doing a sweepstakes for Super Nintendo World now, and we've got to win that now so we can go spend money there. And
yeah.
It would have been nice, though. It would have been nice, though, if we had gotten something in video game form for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I agree.
We did get one thing, but I guess we can put about 5 sets of air quotes around that. There's an in-game promotion going on with Super Mario Run that's going to tie into the new Mario Brothers movie, and that's inexplicably the only in-game crossover promotion that we're getting as of right now.
Yeah.
Inexplicably the only in-game cross promotion that we've gotten. However, there could be more. We might talk about that next week.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, we had a couple of presentations, not just the Mario Movie Direct. There were no less than 3 presentations this week. All of which,
no less than 3 presentations on Thursday alone.
Yeah. Live reacted to all of them, including one of them that was at 5 a.m. my time. And actually, you know what? Huge shout outs to there was a much bigger turnout for each of those than I expected. So big thanks to everybody who showed up for those live reacts. That was really cool.
Chloe came out and hung out with you. Sam was out there.
There's a lot
Purple
of people.
Riolu. Yeah.
It was super cool. So huge shout outs to you folks. Let's start with Capcom Spotlight here, which
sure.
kind of was like later in the day on Thursday. Basically rolled right after the Mario Movie Direct was Capcom Spotlight. There's not a lot of like Nintendo centric stuff to talk about here.
There's even less than I thought there would be.
Yeah.
We knew that Street Fighter 6 was going to be here, and we knew that Exo Primal was going to be here. We knew Resident Evil 4 was going to be here, and we knew that we really had nothing to do with any of those games. And sure enough, nothing Nintendo Switch related has been as of yet announced with any of those games, and that's fine. That's fine. We knew what we wanted coming in. We wanted Monster Hunter, Ghost Trick, and maybe something else to be announced. And something else actually was announced in a weird way. This coming June is going to be Capcom's 40th anniversary, and to celebrate that, they are creating what they are calling a digital theme park called Capcom Town, and they will be releasing it, opening it up. I don't know, but June 12th, they are going to be is going to be kind of the digital ribbon cutting on this digital theme park of theirs. I mean, I've been a huge Capcom fan for actual decades at this point, going back to the original Mega Man on the NES. Legendary developer, a ton of stuff to celebrate. So I'll be interested to see what this Capcom Town has in store. I'm mitigating my expectations a little bit, but I think it's ultimately just going to wind up being a website version of a gallery on one of their,
I think so,
video game collections. But still, should be kind of cool, like a little website encyclopedia of, hey, here's what we've done for the past 4 decades.
They're excited about it, Hey, why not? We did get Monster Hunter was a weird one because the big kind of Monster Hunter thing was actually for next gen platforms. They're finally getting Sunbreak here, like 8 months later.
We're Nintendo Switch players. I genuinely didn't know that we were still the only platform that had Sunbreak.
Yeah, so they're finally getting Sunbreak next month. So,
that was it.
Yeah, but that was basically they said like, oh, there's going to be another presentation for an update in April, but I think we already even knew about that. And then like similarly, we got kind of an overview trailer of Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, which was cool. It did have some neat little details, like I guess they did like this Japan only physical card run that had like these, it's called patch cards, and they're incorporating those into the game. Like it's truly going to be like the ultimate representation of Battle Network. So
they did that exact thing with the Mega Man Zero ZX collection. There were physical cards, some type of physical media that was printed Japan only, but those were also added into and incorporated in to the games for different effects you could turn on off. But I mean, artwork, it's cool collectibles. Cool. There's like 499 of them in total. I do kind of hope, because in the Mega Man Zero ZX collection, they weren't just there. You actually had to unlock them.
Right.
They were tied to different achievements and different in-game things. So it would be kind of cool if they did the same thing with this. I mean, you've got 10 games on this collection. I'm sure you could come up with enough challenges or what have you to unlock those individually. I know that might feel like a tall task for somebody to do 500 separate tasks to unlock these cards, but it would certainly give the game a lot of replayability. But to their credit, that wasn't the only thing they announced with this update. They announced, was it Max Buster mode or
Max
something?
Burst mode or something like that. Yeah.
They made it mode so that like a very easy mode. I didn't think I heard them correctly the first time they said this, but you can turn on this mode that will increase the power of Mega Man.exe's Buster by 100-fold.
Yeah. So
effectively negating the vast majority of the challenge from any of the titles. But if you're somebody who just wants to go through these and check out a series that you've never seen before and just go through the story or whatever, it's there as an accessibility feature. I'm never going to use it, but there are people who will, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and the game comes out pretty soon, just about a month away. I think it comes out April 14th. So we're very, very close. I'm looking forward to it. I've never played any of the Battle Network games, so
same.
Yeah, I'm very, very interested to see what's going on. But I was there for the ghost trick.
Yes, you were
for the ghost trick.
Yes.
Kind of figured coming into this that we would get a release date, and we did. It's coming June 30th. Pre-orders are already live. I've already pre-ordered my digital copy. $29.99. It's a low price. $29.99 is a small price to pay for one of my favorite games of all time. You all need to go and buy it. Play Asia is also doing a physical version, which I had multiple people tag me in, so I appreciate y'all for doing that. That's going to be happening as well. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited. Ghost Trick, I still can't believe it's real. I genuinely still can't believe it's real.
I'm actually a big fan of Play Asia. I actually got in my physical copies of Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 this week from Play Asia. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Play Asia. Got my Chrono Cross from them. And unless Capcom magically announces a Western release for that, I'm probably going to be dipping back over to Play Asia to pick this up as well, because that is definitely a game. That is a special title, ladies and gentlemen. And I want Seth to continue talking to me so that we can keep making the show. So I have to buy it. There's no choice in the matter for me. So
that's right.
I need you all to get off my back about that.
You do. Yeah, and it was cool too, because they even got Shu Takumi himself out.
They did.
Presentation, which was really nice and heartwarming to see him. And
he showed up like that adorable old man who's like, "Hey, I'm Shu Takumi. You know, I'm really happy to be revisiting
very shy
this
man,
game." He was,
yeah, he is.
But it was so great. He was so adorable getting out there. It's like, I'm so happy to be revisiting this game, and very happy to see a brand new generation who will be able to experience this. And they're adding a ton of like artwork, and like the gallery mode of this game is going to be very, very expansive, apparently, which Seth is going to be all over.
Oh, well, they have rearranged. So you've got your normal soundtrack, but they got the composer of the Great Ace Attorney series to do rearranged versions of every track in the game, which is wild. So that's really cool. They've added even more to this version of Ghost Trick than they ever needed to. And I can't wait. June 30th, bring it on, man. Cannot wait for everybody to finally see how great this game has always been.
I didn't expect this from Capcom. I really didn't.
Me either.
When it comes to, I'm glad they're doing this with the Ace Attorney games, and we knew that they were certainly aware of their catalog on the 3DS and the DS, but they have so many high-profile games to worry about right now, like Exoprimal, like RE4, like Street Fighter 6. The fact that there were enough champions within Capcom to say, this needs to be preserved. These eShops are closing. We have got to get this thing into the hands of this generation of players. The fact that there were enough champions at Capcom to make this happen surprises and elates me.
Yep. Yeah, and speaking of surprises, we were very surprised last month at the Nintendo Direct, the sort of resurgence of Level 5. Which, not only did they announce 3 games during that February Direct, but they the next day said, hey, we're going to be doing the Level 5 Vision 2023 presentation. This was the one that happened at 5 a.m. my time, and we knew kind of coming in what we were going to see. There were a couple of cool little announcements. It was a lot of overview trailers and stuff. Some kind of extra context. I was just there for Professor Layton, to be honest with you. And I'm happy I did get to watch it, because to be honest with you, getting a nice big look at something like Deca Police, that game looks amazing.
It
Like,
really does.
it really looks good. Like, it went from something where I was kind of like, okay, this looks kind of neat, but seeing this new overview trailer, I think I'm day one on this thing. There's still
It,
no date, but it's coming this year, and it looks
it's
good.
like Level 5 wasn't quite sure what game to make next, so they decided to make all of them because there are some wildly different mechanical systems that here in play. On the one hand, you have a very detective style investigation system in play that's very reminiscent, of something like a Hotel Dusk or of Ace Attorney or something like that, where you have to find evidence and put stuff together on an actual legit, like Charlie Day style cork board, which is amazing, and break stuff down and narrow down suspects. And on the other hand, you've got this like Persona-esque virtual space combat. You've got this soundtrack that's super reminiscent for me of like Cowboy Bebop and the Persona series in
Very
general,
Persona.
just super jazzy. But and you've got like this super anime aesthetic that's tying everything together, but just how different, how disparate the different mechanical systems are really, really intrigues me. Really intrigues me, because on the one hand, you have something that typically is presented with at least a little bit more of a down-to-earth aesthetic, and then on the other hand, not that.
No, not at all. I'm very, very into what this game is doing. I'm looking forward to seeing more. I hope that this is the kind of thing that whenever it is prime time for this game, it gets a demo, so that people can kind of get their hands on it. That would be really cool. But I was very into it. Still no release date. It is coming this year though, and I'm looking forward to that. Another game coming this year, also announced at the Nintendo Direct, was Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which is a sequel to a 3DS game that I actually didn't realize had so many fans. Fantasy Life, dude, people are loving that game. Like, they crawled out of the woodwork talking about Fantasy Life, and I never played it. That one slipped through the cracks for me.
I mean, it's going to be a really cozy little baby's first action adventure game, like Animal Crossing meets Miitopia, effectively.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, go on this little adventure, find the titular girl who steals time. You have this little town that you'll be able to customize and add stuff to. Certainly not going to be very intense, but if you're into stuff like Animal Crossing or Disney's Dreamlight Valley or Miitopia or something like that, this should definitely be on your radar.
It seems like it might have a little bit more depth. I mean, I don't know. I didn't play the first one, but they're going into like the job system and like the way you can kind of like take on new jobs. And seems like there's maybe a little bit more depth. There's like a dungeon crawling element. The big thing with this one is online multiplayer. Which is awesome. Like the fact that you can link up and get a group of, I think, 4 people together to play together and take on dungeons, and like this is really cool. And it's the kind of thing too where like now I'm like, okay, well, if a lot of people are going to be buying and playing this and I have people to play with, I might be interested in picking this one up and kind of like righting the wrongs, having never played the first one, and apparently it's great. So yeah,
we definitely have to get Lachlan in our party.
Yeah, she says she's picking it up, so we'll see.
Oh, that I have no doubt of that.
Yeah.
I have no doubt of that.
Yeah.
And we have a couple more games from this. Vision 2023 showcase to shout out. But I do just really quickly want to shout out the director of Level 5 who showed up as a PNG tuber during this. Level 5.
It was really good.
Level 5.
Really
Level 5.
He was adorable. Yeah. And one thing that was really cool about this, just in general, was so first of all, basically everything they showed, in fact, I think literally everything they showed is not only coming to Switch, but is getting a global release, which is really cool. So they actually ended the show kind of with this commitment of global releases, even showcasing like the titles of Professor Layton in all these different languages. So this has clearly become a really big priority for Level 5 to do global releases for their games. Even a game like Megaton Musashi Wired, which is...
I'm legit really excited for this. It looks so cool. And I don't know if it was just the fact that after spending a week of playing a lot of Cyberbots, I was just primed and really receptive to something like this. but you've got this super customizable, like next generation custom robo online multiplayer mech extravaganza with a ton
Looks
of
sick.
actual licensed Japanese mechs, most of which I don't know because I'm not that in tune with a lot of the manga and Japanese mech culture that they have over there. There's a ton of really cool robots, but oh my god, this looks badass, Seth.
It looks great. It looks really great. And it's got crossplay, like online, PvP, multiplayer. It looks really, really cool. I'd never even heard of this franchise, Megaton Musashi, and it's getting like localized, brought over here, and it looks great. Like it really does look great.
Does actually look really cool. It does. I'm getting that. I'm getting that. I'm absolutely getting that.
Yeah. They also showed a new Inazuma 11 game called Victory Road, no relation to Pokemon, Victory Road, which is also coming later this year. That is the sort of like soccer anime manga series that Level 5 makes the games for, I guess.
Yeah. And the thing is, since it's going to be the first time, I guess, it's getting a global release, since it's going to be the first time proper that many, many people are going to be experiencing this.
Yeah.
They decided basically just to cram literally the entire history of the franchise into this one title.
Which
so,
is cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It's like, hey, we know this is the first time a lot of you are going to be seeing these characters and this series. So here's everything you need to know from the entire history of the franchise. You'll be able to go up against apparently every character from the history of the franchise. Yeah. It looks like it's going to be incredibly content rich.
Inazuma 11 Ultimate, effectively, is what this is.
Everyone is here.
Everyone is here, yeah. So that looks pretty cool. That's coming this year as well. But I was here for Professor Layton. I was here for Layton, my friend. And
yeah, I know you were.
It was, I was hoping we'd see more. But what we got was cool. We got kind of a just extended trailer, effectively that teaser we saw at the Direct. They basically let it roll like a little bit more, showed us some concept art, and that was pretty much it. But it was nice to have this additional bit of context, kind of knowing where it falls in the timeline. It's pretty much like where I thought it would be, being that this is kind of a new Layton series that takes place a year after Unwound Future. Which was even like the director of Level 5, who I didn't even realize wrote these games, apparently.
Yeah.
He
was like, yeah, it happens a little ways after this incredibly heartbreaking moment. This one right here. Let's go. Yeah. Go ahead and blow that up a little bit. Yeah, are you guys seeing this? This incredibly heartbreaking moment? You guys, let's just watch that a little bit longer.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing there. They wanted the Layton fans to get emotional. I certainly did. And one thing that was really cool to me was the way this adventure kicks off in America, effectively, this new world of Steam, where Luke has gone after the events of Unwound Future and became his own kind of famous detective in just a year, apparently.
Well, I mean, he learned from the best, apparently. But I love the name of the town. It is the most like stereotypically American name I think I've ever heard. Yeah. It's amazing. This game is going to take place in the town of Steam Bison, America.
Yeah. Very, very good. And it was really great that, the setup of this game is that Luke actually writes a letter to Professor Layton, which even that is such a, like, for Professor Layton fans, when you pick up the first game in the series, Curious Village, and it's Layton and Luke basically always kind of responding to letters from other people. The fact that this is Luke, kicking off the events of this game with a letter to Layton from him was like emotional even from that aspect for me. It was just, I'm very, very excited. There seems to be like a little bit of like a dramatic, we see like this kind of sniper, kind of mysterious sniper character with a bandolier. And I'm interested to see like kind of what's going to go on with the story of this game. And it's probably going to kick off a new trilogy, I imagine.
Very
kind
possibly.
Of a more modern, Layton trilogy, perhaps. So, I'm very excited. Very excited.
I do also really dig the logo. With them turning the kanji into like a steam locomotive. I think that's really cool. I genuinely hope that they do something like that with the I hope they can make something like that work with the American version of the logo.
Oh yeah,
but
it looks great.
I love Level 5's naming conventions. We didn't really mention it when we were talking about Deca Police, but just the names in that game too.
Yeah,
like Harvard and like Mikey Princeton and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just, as a longtime Layton fan, like this, it just makes it's another like unbelievable thing to me. I can't believe it's real. Got a new Layton game. It's probably not coming out until 2024. They kind of like said it without saying it because they were like, we have all these games coming out in 2023/24, and everything but Layton was dated for this year. So Layton's the odd one out. Probably coming next year, but I can't wait for it. Very excited.
And to think that Level 5 was working on even so much more than we got shown at the February Direct when so many people were worried about the future of the company. And they came out and said, we've got these three. And then this past week at the Vision 2023 showcase, like I'm so incredibly excited for the future of this company at this point.
Me too.
I really, really am so happy for them. I've been concerned about them just because, they have such a storied catalog. It's not just the Layton franchise. They have a very storied catalog and history of games. And while we've been seeing these other developers just kind of fall by the wayside over the past decade, it's so nice to see that a company, a very well-respected company that we thought was maybe on its deathbed is like, oh no, we just been hanging out over here doing all this amazing stuff. Check out all this amazing stuff, by the way. We're like, yes.
Yeah. It makes me very, very happy. So big shout outs to Level 5. What a return for that studio. But let's hit a couple of these. We got some kind of smaller stories, and then we'll hit notable releases. It's been such a huge week. But Streets of Rage 4 kind of randomly getting a massive free update was not on my bingo card in addition to everything else.
Like we said last week, this is going to be the month of DLC, apparently. We got some big DLC releases this week, but a shadow drop of a new massive update for one of our favorite games of 2021, Streets of Rage 4 from Dotemu. Originally got that big Mr. X content update, and we thought that was basically the end of it. They got this big, cool DLC update to put a cherry on the cake of a really cool game. And no, out of nowhere, earlier today, as we're recording this, as a matter of fact, they shadow dropped a huge update with, they claim, 300 gameplay updates. But in addition to that, brand new combo moves.
Yep.
Brand new combo moves for everybody. And a custom survival mode, like a pretty significant content update to a game that's already had a very significant content update. Like the custom survival mode allows you to alter your starting level. It allows you to affect whether or not stuff heals. Enemy scaling, you can visit only boss levels. You can affect hazards, destroyables, weapons. This is a pretty comprehensive new addition to the mode.
Yeah, huge. And it's, again, with all these updates, the base game was already incredible. With everything they've added and kind of tweaked and stuff to the game, it's pretty and arguably, to me, one of the best brawlers just of all time at this point. Like, and it's really, really a stellar package. And the game is half off until the 23rd. If you somehow have not picked up Streets of Rage 4 yet, you can fix that for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I got the physical right here.
Somewhere over there.
Right there. My fingers on it, right there. But I think you and I might have to schedule another playthrough of that game here pretty soon, Seth. Yeah, you and I did speaking of games that the online co-op works flawlessly, when we did that with Streets of Rage 4, the online co-op with that worked amazing. I was just over here as this big Samoan cyborg just throwing people off of elevators and just having a good old time. Might be time to rekindle that.
Great game, man. Again, half off.
Oh, yeah.
If you somehow have not picked up Streets of Rage 4 yet, fix that post-haste. But we also got a couple of exciting indie game announcements this week.
We did.
Which was cool. So there's a sequel to Wargroove coming later this year, Wargroove 2. from Chucklefish is coming later this year, which is a surprise announcement. I didn't really think they were going to make another Wargroove, but this was cool. This is going to be for people who are looking for, even more strategy RPGs, as if there weren't enough. This is going to definitely scratch that itch. So there you go.
Yeah.
Can never get enough.
There you go. But, we've had a couple of people from Moirai on the show before in the past, Seth, and they have, in, cryptic terms, been talking about something they've been working on. And we finally found out what that was this past week. Moirai Games, the developers of Monster Sanctuary, a game that we've actually featured twice in indie showcases for, once for the main game, and another time for a massive, talk about massive content updates and massive content patches. The Forgotten World of Monster Sanctuary, we refeatured it on the show with a developer interview.
Yep.
And they were like, we're working on something. It's, another monster tamer. We're doing some stuff. We can't wait to show it off. And sure enough, we found out this week about Aethermancer, their brand new game. And this looks rad. This looks pretty rad. It does ditch the 2D Monster Sanctuary was a 2D Metroidvania-esque style game, whereas this seems like it's going to be much more of a top-down, maybe dungeon crawler-esque type of experience. But I dig Monster Sanctuary. I really, really love the game. I really love the Forgotten World. I really can't wait to check this one out. As a matter of fact, when they announced the game, the developer hit us up on Discord and was like, yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah. It was cool, man. So, it was cool to see this. Look, anything they make at this point, just the way they continue to support Monster Sanctuary, the amount of content that they put in that game for free is staggering. They're a special developer, and anything that they make is going to be on my radar for sure. And I'm excited to see more of Aethermancer whenever it comes out. It's going to be a while yet. We did reach out to them. I think you hit them up on Twitter to confirm the Switch port. Switch version is planned for this game, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, they didn't overtly say that. However, we did personally confirm with Moirai that yes, a Switch version is planned. So even though you may not see it, we personally, that's how that's how games journalism is supposed to work. You go to the source and you get confirmation. So that's what we did. So Switch port, Aethermancer. Level 5.
Yeah, very, very cool. We'll definitely have Daniel back on.
Absolutely.
Whenever we get a little bit closer, it's going to be some time, but we'll definitely reach back out and we'll be chatting much more about that. But there's been so much going on this week. We're running long, but we need to hit these notable releases real quick.
Okay. Again, talking about the month of DLC.
Yeah.
The big one obviously was the brand new tracks, the brand new update for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the Booster Course update, Wave 4 with the Fruit Cup and the Boomerang Cup, and Seth, we fell in love all over again. The highlights are obviously the brand new Mario Kart Tour courses, but we got a brand new course, a Yoshi's Island course that maybe this is just recency bias, but man, does it feel like one of the best courses in the game.
It's really good. I think the course itself is fine, the design of the course itself, but it's all of the just excess. Yeah. It's just all of the touches. Stuff, all the touches. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of the Zelda themed course, where the course itself, fine, but the touches are just so nice. The music, the Yoshi coins, the sound effects,
the coins on, just like they did with the Hyrule Castle course, you can pick up the rupees. These are Yoshi coins, and there's a lot. They've been really good with DLC courses about stuff like that, about little touches and Easter eggs and sound cues. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so good. But again, we got, in addition to that, we got 3 more Mario Kart Tour courses, which are uniformly just great. We got, Sparky drove one of those for real, apparently, because one of them was from Singapore. The Singapore course for me
Really good.
was the standout, maybe of this entire wave. I love the Yoshi's Island course, but that Singapore course was amazing.
It reminds me of a cruising course or something, like a cruising.
I can see that
course. Yeah,
yeah,
really, really great.
But you get to, a lot of gliding through the Singapore sky. Oh, it's really cool. It's really cool. And then we got, just a couple other courses come back. DK Summit from Wii making his triumphant return. That's pretty awesome. That was great to see.
Yeah, it's a great booster. It's another great wave. Get you right back to Mario Kart 8. It does what it does what it needs to do.
Yeah, and Birdo.
And
we got a brand new character, and that was kind of the big headline around. Like, everybody was talking about the courses, but when Birdo showed up, those 5 extra question marks there on the character select screen now has everybody talking. So we have at the very least 5 more confirmed characters coming to the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Maybe in a future Booster Course Pass even. So, But we've got at least 5 new characters coming to the game.
More to come. More to come. Exciting. We also got, as alluded to earlier, the drop of Metroid Fusion on the GBA app. So that's now a thing. We have it. It's a thing.
And with the drop of Metroid Fusion, we now have the entire core 2D Metroid series playable now on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. The entire core series now playable for everybody to enjoy, and it makes me happy. Makes me very happy, Eric.
Yes.
Let's see. We already chatted about a lot of these. So Bayonetta Origins demo, you can go and download and play that.
In addition to the Bayonetta demo, there was also a new demo for Grim Grimoire once again.
Oh, right. That's right. Yep.
I did actually play that demo. I really liked the game when it came out. I don't know. I might have to check the demo out one more time. It didn't quite grab me the way the original PS2 version did. The battles in Grim Grimoire are kind of like scaled down versions of something like StarCraft or Warcraft, resource gathering in multiple units and stuff like that. It's really kind of weird. But there is a demo out, so if you want to check it out, free demo out for Grim Grimoire once more.
Yep. Very cool. We've already chatted quite a bit about Figment 2 Creed Valley, which came out. I actually forgot to mention Paranorma Site, which I also played and really liked.
So much going on this. Yeah, you said you really liked it. It's been getting reviewed really well. I might have to check this out. It's from Square Enix. It's like this horror-based visual novel.
Yep. It's really, really great. There's a video on the YouTube channel already of the first hour or so of my playthrough, and it is great. It is, Japanese horror, kind of detective mystery visual novel game. The cool thing about Paranorma Site is actually very quickly just the way that it plays with the medium of video games. It's not like most visual novels where you're just kind of there selecting whatever. This game is the type of horror game where they'll say, look behind you, and you actually turn and look behind you, And it really kind of breaks the fourth wall a lot. It's really, really cool. Check out my video. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more in detail next week. There's just been so much going on. I totally spaced it. Totally didn't mention
it. But in addition to that, we have even more DLC that came out. Very quickly, Wave 3 of the Fire Emblem Engage expansion pack released this week. So, more emblems, more stuff for an already pretty big, really cool tactics-based RPG, which we did a review on a little while back. Go ahead and check that out. But again, Wave 3 of the Fire Emblem Engage expansion pack also released this week. And that's not the end of the DLC talk, Seth.
Nope.
A very, very highly lauded expansion to Dead Cells came out this week. Return to Castlevania. That game is never going to die, apparently. And based on the reactions from this update, long may it rain, because this update is getting absolutely glorious reviews.
Yeah, I really want to play it, man. Just got to find the space for it. It looks amazing. Ever since we saw that trailer for it, it looks fantastic. We also got, this was, I think, one of the games that was in the last Indie World. Oni, Road to be the Mightiest Oni came out.
Yeah, I've had my eye on this one for a long time. I feel like I've seen the exact same gameplay clip of this about 1,000 times. It looks like it's really trying to be a like Breath of the Wild light or something. I'm interested to check it out. I am. But again, I feel like I saw the exact same gameplay clip used to market this game about 1,000 times. So it did raise a red flag for me. But again, I'm interested to check it out. I want to see if there's a demo or some more media on it. I desperately want to see anything other than that one clip, essentially.
Yeah. And then I think maybe the last one to shout out here is the remaster of Fatal Frame: Mask of the Lunar Eclipse also came out this past week. So sure,
another week, another high-profile remaster coming to the Nintendo Switch. It's another one. It's just one every week at this point. We've got Fatal Frame. We've got Metroid Prime, which we'll be talking about later on in the full episode. We've got Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Tales of Symphonia Remastered. It's just DLC and remasters, and it's actually starting to get too much, Seth. It's actually starting to get... I think that's everything from this past week. I think that's everything from this past week. But let us know what you guys are up to. Let us know what you are playing. Reach out to us on Facebook at All In Podcast, on Twitter at All In Podcast, and of course, join our amazing community over in the All In Discord. We would love to have you over there. And check out our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live right now, you're already doing that. Thank you very much. So just go ahead, and if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe, hit that bell, get the notifications, all that fun subscribery YouTube buzzword stuff. But in addition to that, and all the content that Seth has been putting out on the YouTube channel, especially this week, in addition to all of that, we think you guys should also check out our Patreon.
Yes, patreon.com/allinpodcast is the place to be. We got 3 tiers of support over there. Get shout outs on the show. You can get exclusive podcasts. We do 2 exclusive podcasts every single week. The latest episode of Side Quest was really, really fun about the TMNT, as you mentioned earlier.
TMNT sweep!
Yeah, man. And so we do a lot of exclusive content, a lot of perks, including discounts on our merch, bit.ly/allinmerch. You can head over there, get yourself a shirt, get yourself a mug or a sticker, and support us over there. Throw a couple bones our way. But if you don't have any bones to throw our way, that's okay too. You can support us entirely for free by dropping some words on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Audible. You can leave us 5-star written reviews that I will shout out here on the show. And on Spotify, you can leave us a 5-star rating. Very free, very easy way to support your favorite Nintendo podcast.
And we do appreciate all the support that we get from you guys. Absolutely all of it. There's just so much. We always feel the love. We want to thank all of our amazing patrons, everybody who has dropped words, and everybody who has helped share our content across the internet. Guys, namaste.
Namaste, everybody. That's the news, folks. Huge week. We finally got through it. We're done.
Happy Mario Day, everyone.
Happy Mario Day, everybody. Shoutouts to Danielina Hosa here in the chat. Hey, Dan. Good to see you, my friend. Guys, this is just a taste of the full podcast. We've got the top 5 in-game Mario celebrations this week in the top 5. We've got a great indie showcase of another 3DS hidden gem, Night Sky, that we're doing this week. And then we've also got a big retrospective on the first Metroid Prime with Tim from the Nintendo Dads. So yeah, huge episode this week. There's a lot to look forward to. The full podcast drops tomorrow. Links are in the video description. As always, if you would like to check that out, as well as join our Discord community, where I think at some point tomorrow we're probably going to play Mario Kart.
Yeah,
so,
we've got to.
Yeah,
we really do.
So head on over there, join our very friendly and welcoming Discord, and play some Mario Kart with us here tomorrow. But yeah, other than that, like and subscribe before you head out. And we'll see you guys next week. Love you very much.
Hope you have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah. Bye, guys.